Okay, we're excited to have Bucky McMillan with us. Bucky coming back to the SEC and back to Birmingham, or I guess should say to the SEC and back to Birmingham. Bucky attended Mountain Brook Elementary School, just up the road, less than a mile from this hotel. He was a standout basketball player at Mountain Brook High School and at Birmingham Southern College. And he came into town last night to have the advantage of looking so good by visiting his traditional barber here in town. At age 24, Bucky was named the head coach at Mountain Brook High School, where he won 5 state championships at a school that had never before won a state championship prior to his arrival. He honed a style of play at Mountain Brook High School labeled Bucky Ball. So I admit to not paying a lot of attention to local high school basketball, but I knew that moniker because it was a fast, aggressive, and high-scoring form of basketball. Bucky left his mark on the high school realm, and that includes having 3 of his former assistants coaching across the state in Mountain Brook, Coleman, and in Huntsville. In April of 2020, that Bucky Ball moniker moved a few miles, I think that's west of where we are right now, to Samford University. And after making that jump from high school directly to being a head coach at a Division I university, he took Samford to its first NCAA tournament since 2000. He had 4 straight 20-win seasons and earned Southern Conference Coach of the Year 3 straight years. Welcome to the podium in his first year leading Texas A&M, Bucky McMillan.
Thank y'all. It's good to be back in Birmingham for a second. I actually was telling this to Garth a second ago that I lived up here on Peacock Lane, which is like a mile from here, and I would walk to elementary school with a basketball in my hand about every single day. And Mountain Brook Elementary is about half a mile from here, and I would walk right by this spot with a basketball. So coming back here and being a part of SEC Media Days, seeing a lot of familiar faces, it's great. And I appreciate all the local people who showed up. And I see some of y'all, and I saw Kevin here today, who's been covering us for years. And the people from Texas A&M, thank you very much, and the national media, obviously, for covering us. It means a great deal to us. And, you know, I hear there's not as many athletic directors in the house today or yesterday, because we're in the middle of football season, and our football program is rolling right now. We're a top 5 team in the country, but by God, we got Trev Alberts, our AD, here, man, and we appreciate it. So who says Texas A&M in a football and a basketball school? So thanks for being here today, man. Look, I was joking with someone a second ago when I saw John Calipari take the Arkansas job, and he said, look, we just got hired. I met with the team, and there is no team. And I laughed at that. And then they say, be careful what you wish for. They ought to say, be careful what you laugh at, because I get hired in April, and it was a weird set of circumstances with the House settlement coming on, and a lot of players getting the portal, a lot of players taking advantage of the opportunities out there, and coaching turnover mid-April, and last Power 5 job open, and didn't have anybody on the roster yet. So I totally felt John Calipari's pain. I can tell you this, we're not a finished product, but we're a heck of a lot better than we were in April with nobody on the roster. I think our staff did as good a job as possible of putting together a team that I think can compete in this league. And if you can compete in this league, that means you can get the NCAA tournament. And if you're in the NCAA tournament, you are playing for a national championship. We all know what this league is. It was the best league in the history of college basketball last year. It's predicted to be the best league in the country this year. 14 of the 16 teams went to the tournament last year, 4 in the Elite 8, 2 in the Final 4, and a national champion. I think certain universities are going to have to choose what they want to be good at. I think Texas A&M can be good at everything. I think we got the right leadership there, the resources there. We can be good at everything. And I think Texas A&M, and my goal, everywhere that I've been, whether it was high school and college, we wanted to get to the top of the league. And we did that at a place in high school that certainly had not been to the top of the championship that they play for in the Southern Conference. At Stanford, we did the same thing. Now we're in the SEC. And our goal is obviously not just be happy to be here, but get to the top of this league. Because if you get to the top of this league, you can be a national champion. And I think that Texas A&M is a sleeping giant. I think you can win a national championship at Texas A&M. And I've been elated to be there thus far. For our team this year, I'm so thankful for the players who joined our roster. in April and May because they had to see it before it's happened, before we won a game there, and they had to see it, and some of them had to jump on board before we had other players on the roster. We had some very good players jump on board not knowing who they were going to play with because they believed in the staff, they believed in the university. And so I'm elated with the roster we put together based on the circumstances. I think we got a really good shooting team. We got to come a long way on defense. They always say get old, get deep, get some continuity. Don't have much continuity, obviously, when you don't have any players returning, but we are old, we are deep. I know we'll play a style of basketball that will be very entertaining for the fans and hopefully hard to play against. So that's our team this year. Y'all can ask me about specific players, but very excited to be here and very excited as we go through these years to get to the top of this league.
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question, raise your hand. Please give your name and affiliation. Catherine and Emma will get you a microphone. We'll start right in the middle. Olin.
Hi, Coach. I'm Olin Buchanan with Texags. Since you have put that team together and you've had an opportunity to practice and all you've seen in practice, what specifically, gives you optimism that, you are going to be able to come together and be the kind of team you're talking about?
A couple things. First, I would say that our age, they're mature players. They're mature players. We're not totally healthy right now with McKenzie. But when we have everybody, we have a deep team. So you have an old team that's deep, okay? And when you have old players that are mature, this isn't their first rodeo with college basketball. You're going to hear every kind of coach speak that you've ever heard in your life this week. We've all heard it, what we got to do. We all know it. But the truth is, to compete at this level, the talent gaps can be big or they can be slight. But to have a successful season, you're going to have a team that has the maturity to fight through the adversity of the season. The highs, the lows, and that's why you'll see some teams that go on a 4-game losing streak and they absolutely tank the season because, hey, they weren't ready for the hard. I think our players have been a part of college basketball and know that it's not easy. It's not easy to go on a 3-game road streak or 2-game road streak in all of college basketball, and it dang sure is not easy in this league. So for our players, we have experience playing college basketball. Many of them had experience at the Power 5 level.
Coach, we'll go right here in front, second row. Kevin.
Hey, Bucky. Kevin Skarbinski with the SEC blog. Why was it important for you to take some of your key staff members with you to A&M?
Well, I think we've had a great staff wherever I've coached. I mean, it was definitely a we. There's familiarity with each other and continuity with how we operate. In addition to taking the staff members that I've known a long time, like Mitch Cole, was actually coached me in college. We added some great staff members as well that knew Texas A&M. So what's unique about our staff is you could say, well, y'all are kind of new there, but Mitch Cole's coach at Texas A&M, won an SEC championship there as an assistant coach. Kyle Keller did the same thing. Darby Rich is coached there, and Frank Haitham coached there. And so you're looking at all coaches who have, and Darby Rich is, in my opinion, maybe the best strength coach in all college basketball. And then you're looking at 3 other coaches who have been head coaches and have won championships and have recruited at a very, very high level. But Texas A&M is a unique place in that the people there, I say Aggies support Aggies. And those that we brought with us were Aggies at one point. And once you're an Aggie, you're kind of always an Aggie. And so that staff right there was able to quickly tap into the fan base at A&M, and we needed that in a short order because this day and age of college basketball, things move quick, and we needed to rally a fan base very quickly to help us build a roster.
Coach, we'll go on the 4th row, straight in front of the podium.
Hey, Coach. Caleb Turntime, BHAM Now. You mentioned your background and growing up here. At what point did you really start to feel like you could get an opportunity to coach at this level and in this conference, and what made now the right time to make that jump?
What made the right time now was we have great administration, and I worked for a tremendous person when I was at Mountain Brook High School. There's a guy an athletic director there named Terry Cooper, who I actually played for there. And so I knew him, believed in him when I took the Mountain Brook job, and I honestly felt at that time I was the best person for that job. And then I knew Martin Newton at Samford, and when I went to Samford, I felt I was the right person for that job, and I believed in him. And then when I talked to Trev Alberts and his vision for what he wants to do at A&M, I felt I fit that job, and that job fit me. right? You're talking about when did I know? You don't know how that works. Like, you don't know, like, where am I going to end up? There's no difference. I can tell you this, when I was at Samford and we're playing Kansas in the NCAA tournament, and there's 2 minutes left to go in the game, or I'm coaching a JV basketball game, and there's 2 minutes left to go in the game. As a coach and as a competitor, you don't know the difference. You don't keep up with the difference. You are where you are, right? What I can say is I think that you know, we had a lot of college coaches come and recruit some of my players in high school. I got to see every angle, and that experience for me was probably better than any experience I've even had as a college coach. I got to see every single, I had a McDonald's All-American on my team. I got to see every school in the country recruit that player. What worked, what didn't work. That helped me tremendously understanding the recruiting game. Though I hadn't recruited before I went to Samford, I got to see every coach in the country recruit my guys. And so once we kind of figure that out and, you know, say, I know how this recruiting works, the basketball stuff and the connecting piece, that's something that I'm very comfortable doing. I've done it my whole life.
Okay, we'll go on the second row here.
Hey, Bucky, Neil Blackman, Saturday Down South. It looks like the better teams that you had at Samford in particular, and obviously play fast, shoot a lot of threes, make a lot of threes, but you guys were able to generate a lot of rim pressure for mid-major team, particularly on the offensive glass. Did you go about kind of constructing a roster you could replicate that in the SEC where that's even more important?
Yeah. Look, when we had to construct our roster, we had to take the best what was out there. And so we knew, and I've told this to different people, we're not going to win an Oscar opening night, right? You know, you got to put the actors together that fit it perfectly to do that on opening night. We had to put together a roster that had good people and had talent. And so we'll have to play smaller in spots this year, some guys out of position. But we know that when you look at the Final Four, those rosters all have one thing in common. Is it that they play zone? Is it that they play man? Is it that they press? Is it that they shoot a lot of threes? And one thing in common, they got talent. So for us, we just had to put a roster together that had talent, and we said, we'll figure it out once we get that talent, as long as they are the right people and they fit Texas A&M. So to your question about rim protection, I'd be the first to tell you, hey, we may have lineups out there where we don't have anybody over taller than 6'5". And that can be challenging. We better steal the ball before they shoot it. And then we may have times out there we put 2 7-footers out there. But we're just going to figure it out as we go.
Coach, we'll go to the back row.
Bucky, Richard Hendricks, ESPN. You've been able to obviously be from the state of Alabama, and you were able to get a North Alabama kid in Jakari Lane. How has he been able to transition into your program?
Yeah, Richard Hendricks, I watched him play for years, man, the man. Jakari's been great. Every intangible that you could have in a player, Jakari has. Like, he really does. And you can't put a price tag on that. Like, for these players coming up from mid-major, the difference in, like we talk about in talent, is that. But he's a winner. Jakari's a winner. He's won everywhere he's been, and he's won at places that hadn't won yet. So there's things he'll do on a stat sheet that'll be great, but more importantly, the intangibles he has, moving the basketball, being about winning every day, so happy to be at Texas A&M, not taking it for granted. That's the type of player I can ride with, and he's going to be a big part of our success this year.
Okay, we'll take one final question in the middle. Olin?
Yeah, Coach, you did talk about taking your basketball back here when you were a kid and things like that. I just want to press, if you don't mind, Jan, what's this just experience like to have grown up here and start your career and everything, and to come here now as a SEC basketball coach? I wonder if it's emotional or nostalgic, or is it just another day in a coach's life?
Well, I saw a lot of familiar faces when I came here, and people stopped by to say, hey. You've heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, right? And this village raised me. And so I wouldn't be here without the people of this village. And we did a lot of great things together. And we're about to do a lot of great things at Texas A&M. And there's a lot of people I'm meeting out there. And it was special when we did it here because we all did it together. And at Texas A&M, when we get it done, it's going to be even more special because there's a lot more people that are going to have to come together to do it. And I'm looking forward to making it happen.
Coach, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.